It's that time of year again, isn't it? Somehow we have made it to July. It is Spendigo season. If you don't know what that is, I am referring to the Australian Sheep and Wool Festival, which is happening this weekend as I'm filming this, from the 18th to the 20th of July, up in Bendigo, Victoria. It is the biggest yarn event in the country, and I will be attending the entire weekend this year. Last year I only went up for the day and I didn't even get to really see everything that the festival has to offer. So this year is going to be very different. I am very excited, but at the same time quite concerned about how much money I'm going to be spending, hence the nickname that it's kind of earned over the years, Spendigo. It's just too hard to maintain a budget at this event. It is crazy. So to try and at least, if I'm gonna go and spend a lot of money, I at least want to have some sort of plan this year, which will hopefully make myself feel a bit better about the amount of money I'm going to spend. At least I'll know that hopefully everything or most of the things I buy were things I wanted, I knew I wanted, and also for projects that I know I want to make. Hopefully that will make the purchases feel a bit more purposeful and will ensure that everything I buy gets used in the near or somewhat foreseeable future. So that brings us to today's video, but before I get into it, hi, my name is Jamie. If you're new here, I make videos about knitting, yarn, and all things fibre arts. Feel free to check out my channel, suss out the vibe if you like what you see. Feel free to subscribe and of course follow me on Instagram. That is definitely where I'm most active, at Jamie_creates. And if you feel so inclined, you know, you can check out my patterns. Everything is linked in the description. So I would love to have you join my little knitting community. Okay. So Spendigo, it's gonna be a big weekend. Basically, this weekend is gonna look quite different to my last Bendigo. Like I said, I only went up for the day. I actually made a vlog and yarn haul from my first ever Bendigo, which was last year. So you can check that out if you kind of wanna get a better sense for what the event is like. I'm not sure how much vlogging I'm gonna do this year, just because I'm gonna be there for 3 days and I kind of feel like I'm either gonna end up with way too much footage to sort through or like hardly any, and it's gonna be a bit of a flop, or just like a pain to edit. So, and then like when it comes to the yarn haul, I just know there's gonna be a lot. And so I feel like that's kind of what is the most interesting part of it anyway. And I just don't want to end up with like an Australian yarn show part 2 where it was just like a really long vlog, because I did like half the video was a vlog and half was the yarn haul. I obviously could separate those two if I needed to, but I feel like I vlogged last year. If you guys want to see what the vibe is, it's not going to be that different this year. So feel free to check that out for like a more in-depth look at what it's like to attend the Sheep and Wool Festival if you can't be there yourself, which I'm sure many of you will obviously not be able to. However, I definitely am going to try and still get some footage, and I think what I'm going to do is film a yarn haul and probably just like insert footage throughout, like when I'm talking about a specific stall or just like the weekend in general. So that's probably going to be what you can expect from me in my next video. But this video I am basically just making to hold myself accountable, to be honest, because like I said, if I have a plan, hopefully I will stick to it. I know there's definitely going to be like impulse purchases here and there, or things that I don't know is going to be there, or, you know, dyers I've never seen before. I'm going to end up buying things that I don't plan to buy. I just know that's how I am. And that's also part of the fun of it, is like discovering new dyers and new products and new businesses and stuff. So that's totally fine. But in terms of like the majority of my purchases, I definitely want to have a plan. So this video is basically just holding myself accountable. If I tell you my plans, then I hopefully will be more inclined to stick to them. And yeah, I think it will also just kind of be fun to see what I was kind of thinking going in, and like what I planned on getting, and then what I actually end up getting. So we'll have to wait till the next video to see that. So yeah, I'm basically just going to run you through my list. I'll try and, you know, mention the actual patterns or designs that I plan on making with the yarn that I plan on buying. And I'll put pictures up on the screen so that hopefully you have a bit of a visual. But obviously once I do the actual yarn haul, it'll be much clearer. But yeah, thought this would just be a fun kind of intro for the Bendigo weekend, and also just to get myself even more excited about it, even though I'm already very excited. I leave in 2 days and it's gonna be really hectic, so I'm trying to like take it easy. Like I said, I'm going the whole weekend this year, and I'm gonna be actually spending a lot of my time at the Woollen stall, which is very exciting. If you don't know Chloe from Woollen Works, she is a yarn dyer. She's also one of my closest friends, and this is her first Bendigo as well. Well, she's been before, but this is her first time vending, and it's very, very exciting. She has never done, neither of us actually have ever done a 3-day yarn market or festival or anything like that. So both of us are feeling a bit anxious, and I know she is definitely quite stressed and has been working so hard behind the scenes amongst her full-time job and everything else she's got going on to get everything ready for this weekend. So I'm really honestly excited for it to be over, just for her sake. But yeah, she's also kindly let me sell my books there, so she'll be selling them, and hopefully that will also help me maybe recoup some of the losses of this weekend. But also, yeah, just a good opportunity to sell some more books and chat with people and customers and things, and also hopefully get me away from all the other stalls. I don't know, I'm not gonna be spending all my time at her stall because I am gonna be wanting to do my own shopping and exploring, especially having the whole weekend. But yeah, I'm probably gonna be spending a good amount of time there helping her because it's a lot to do a 3-day festival. So that's my plan. This year, I'm definitely gonna have some more time on my hands, and I wanna try and see as much of the show as I can. And also Bendigo in general. I didn't really get to do anything in Bendigo last time. I was just at the showground. So this year I'll have my car and I'll definitely try and like see a little bit. Hopefully the weather will be a bit nicer, maybe some sun if we're lucky. And also, there's gonna be a craft cinema night on the Saturday night. So if you don't know what craft cinema night, it's basically what it sounds like. It's a craft night in the cinema. You get to watch a movie, have the lights dimmed, and everyone's just doing their own crafts, and it's so much fun. And luckily they have organized one for Bendigo on the weekend on the sheep show, so it's perfect. I think we're watching Legally Blonde, so I'm gonna have a great time at that, if hopefully I can stay awake, because I know I'm gonna be really tired. And then I also want to make sure I get to Bendigo Woollen Mills because I didn't get to go last year, and they are a very well-known yarn mill in Australia, and I have never actually used their yarn. So I am very keen. I've heard really good things. I know that it's very affordable. They come in like 200 gram skeins, so you get a lot for your money. And yeah, I'm keen to try some of their yarn out and see the factory and the infamous back room if I'm able to. I don't really know how it all works. I've got to do a bit more research, but at some point over the weekend, I'm definitely going to head over there as well. So that will come up as well in my list if I ever actually get to it. So yeah, those are like my general plans. It's going to be a great weekend. It's not just me going up with Chloe. Some of her like high school friends are also coming to help, which is really nice. And we're going to have like an Airbnb for the weekend. So it should be really fun. And yeah, I'm excited, but I know I'm going to be so tired afterwards. So wish me luck getting into work on Monday and attempting to function. Okay, enough rambling, let's get to the list. So I've made a list with all the yarn and yarn related things that I kind of want to buy or have plans to buy or maybe will buy, I don't know. Some of it's just like certain stall holders that I know I want to buy something from. I actually don't necessarily know what I want to get, but yeah. This is my general kind of like shopping / wish list because I'm not sure if I'll actually get to everything, but in an ideal world, these are all the things I would love to buy. I probably won't be able to get everything, but we will just have to see. Oh my goodness, I just realized I haven't even talked about what I'm wearing, and it's a brand new FO. So before I get into everything, let me just quickly tell you what it is. I'm gonna film a knitting podcast hopefully next week because I have so many projects to show you guys. I haven't done one in ages. So I'll definitely talk more in depth about this then, but I guess I'm wearing it and maybe you might be curious. So this is my Lakes pullover by Ozetta. I knitted it using Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the colorway Pea Shoots, and I love it. It's a beautiful saddle shoulder. I just wanted to make sure I made at least one like staple, simple jumper for this winter, and it took me a little bit longer than I anticipated because I just got distracted with other projects, but I finally finished it like last week, or it finally finished drying like last week because it took forever to dry in this cold apartment. But yeah, I am absolutely loving it, and I just thought I would show it off in this video. So yeah, I'll talk more about it and the process of knitting it and everything in the next podcast, but in case you're wondering what I'm wearing, this is the Lakes pullover. Okay. So starting with Bendigo Woollen Mills, because that's just the first thing on my list. I kind of teased this on my Instagram stories the other day because I've been thinking about it for a little bit, but if you didn't know, my shortcake sweater, I'll put a little photo up here, was released about a month ago, I think now. And so far it's been a very successful pattern release. So thank you to everyone who has supported it and purchased it. It was a very long process to get it out. So I'm really, really happy that it's finally out and that people can finally make them. Sorry that it kind of came a little bit late into the winter. I planned on releasing it in like May and it ended up coming out like end of June. So it was a little bit later into the winter for those of us who are in winter right now than I had hoped. But better late than never. Honestly, just like looking at all my tester photos just made me so inspired and made me want to knit another one. And I was like, well, I'm gonna knit another one. I may as well just do a knit along, because I feel like, especially with this kind of pattern where you need to use a few different colors, it's like a really fun one to kind of knit along with other people. Like that was what made the testing process so fun, was that you can kind of just see all the different color combos that everyone uses and get inspired, and just like, I don't know, I just found it like a really fun experience. So I was thinking maybe if I'm planning on making another one, which I really want to now, maybe I'll just do a knit along. So I don't know exactly when that's gonna be. Hopefully soon. I just need to kind of get myself organized. And I also have a pattern, my other pattern that is currently in testing, the plot twist tank, which is definitely a summer knit, even though we're also like halfway through summer in the Northern Hemisphere, but I'm trying my best just to get things out as quick as possible. But I don't know, I was just a bit more delayed than I planned, but it's fine, it's all good. But yeah, that one I'm hoping to get out in like the next 2 weeks or so, because the testing deadline will be next week. So like I'm gonna start going through all that feedback after Bendigo. So it will just depend. I probably will wait until after that pattern release to do the shortcake sweater knit along, just so that I can get everything organized and not be overwhelmed. But yeah, I definitely want to do a shortcake sweater knit along in the next, you know, month or so, which I feel like is actually perfect timing for people who are in the Northern Hemisphere, because then you can kind of knit it over your spring and then have it ready, sorry, not spring, our spring. You can knit it over like your like end of summer, autumn, and then have it kind of ready for winter. So with that in mind, I would really love to try the Bendigo Woollen Mills Luxury 8-ply. I believe is gonna be the right yarn for the shortcake sweater. Even though Cascade 220, which is the yarn that I used, is technically classified as a worsted, but it's got the same meterage as the Bendigo Woollen Mills 8-ply. So I think that's gonna be the right yarn to use. So my plan is to use that yarn. They come in 200 gram skeins, so I actually should only need 1 skein of each color, which is perfect. Very affordable. I don't know what colors I'm gonna make yet. It will really depend on what they have, because on the website, a lot of them are currently listed as pre-order. So I'm just gonna kind of see once I get there. I find it a lot easier to like put colors together in real life than I do online. It's just so much easier to visualize when you just have it in your hand. So I'm not sure what colors I'm gonna do yet. I did my first sample, as you would have seen, in the red, pink, and white combo, which I'm absolutely obsessed with, but I would definitely wanna do something quite different for the second sample, just so that like they feel like distinctly different pieces in my wardrobe. So we'll see, maybe some blues, maybe greens, I'm not sure. Maybe yellow, I don't know. We'll see what they have, but I definitely plan on getting some of that yarn to make the shortcake sweater. So that is the first thing on my list. And then, okay, I'm just kind of going in order of how I've written everything. This one, I'm still on the fence. I would love to make this pattern, but a whole jumper using finger weight yarn is kind of terrifying to me. But maybe this is the right pattern to do it for, because it's kind of got all sorts of different textures, so it might make it not feel as hellish. We'll see how I go, but possibly getting some of their luxury 4-ply, so their fingering weight wool, to make the lilac blossom sweater by, oh, I want to make sure I get her name right, because I know her Instagram is by Kylie. But yeah, let me just see like what her Ravelry, I think it's just under her name, so Kylie Noel. She is so talented and she makes everything in purple. It is so beautiful and aesthetic to look at. If you don't follow her on Instagram, I highly recommend it. And she's released this beautiful pattern. I'll put it on the screen. It's called the Lilac Blossom Sweater. It's got all sorts of different textures. It kind of reminds me a bit of like, you know, the Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit, or my attention deficit jumper, for example, where you're just like working different sections with different stitch patterns. So I do think it could be not as painful to knit, because at least I'll kind of be working towards each section rather than just knitting plain stockinette in finger weight yarn for an entire jumper. I don't know if I could ever do that. I would have to be really, really committed to the cause. And with just so many project plans at the moment and so many things on my needles and just so much yarn to use, I don't know if I can commit to doing that. But maybe something like this pattern, I could do it. And I just think it's so beautiful that like, maybe this is the one. And yeah, just with the Bendigo yarn being a bit more affordable than like a hand-dyed yarn, I think that would be a great pattern to use it on, because a lot of yarn and expensive. So I don't know, I'm thinking, I mean, her purple one is beautiful, but I feel like I do like purple a lot, but it's not as much my thing. Like, I feel like pink is probably my color. So maybe like a baby pink. I don't know, I have so many pink knits and so much pink yarn that I need to use, but maybe a baby pink, you know, like a little like cherry blossom sweater instead of lilac blossom. That could be very me. So we'll see. Moving on down the list. So I would have already talked about this in my Australian yarn show yarn haul vlog video, but I still have this plan to make the Dream Home socks by Stone Knits. She did like a set, so it was called the Dream Home set, but like there's a specific pair of socks, like specific design in the set that I want to make. It's like these gorgeous little like cottages, and like the base color of the sock is like this beautiful like green tweed yarn that she used, and it's kind of like a little meadow, and then it's got these like little red cottages and some pretty blue sky with some clouds, and I just think it is so gorgeous. And I've never done colorwork socks. At this stage, I currently have the green that I want to use, which I bought at the Australian Yarn Show, so that's when I would have talked about it. It's not a tweed, but it's a beautiful hand-dyed yarn with speckles that kind of gives it like a tweed effect. So I have that already. I also have some red, like a little red mini that I picked up at Mountain Ash Yarnery in Olinda a few months ago, which is perfect. And then I think I've got a cream mini. I've got like leftovers that I used for my recent socks that I'll show you in a podcast, but my F the Patriarchy socks, and it was using the Blonde Fragility yarn from Chloe's Barbie collection. So I have definitely enough leftover for that, for the houses, which are like red and cream, but I don't have a blue or a white even sock yarn. I don't have a blue that's like the right color. I really want like a very specific shade of blue that like looks like the sky, doesn't look too kind of like oceany or like, I don't know. I just feel like every shade of blue that I've seen, like I was trying to find this at the Australian Yarn Show and I just couldn't find the right thing. So I feel like Bendigo is a lot bigger. So I'm really hoping to find just like a mini skein, just because I feel like having to spend like all that money on like yarn that I'm not really gonna need that much of, like I'm really gonna need it for the cuff. So I'd really like to find a mini skein of like the perfect blue. I don't know how successful I'm gonna be, but we'll just have to see. So that is on my list. And then also, yeah, like a white mini as well would be great. Okay, moving on. So this is something very exciting that I didn't actually already mention. So at Chloe's store, she's not only gonna have her yarn, she's already announced this. It is so exciting. I've known for a while and I've just kind of had to keep my mouth shut, but she is actually gonna be stocking yarn from both Sewrella and SuperGlo Fibre, who are both very, very well-known US dyers that I am obsessed with. I absolutely love everything that they do, and I have been just drooling over their yarn for the last couple of years. Most people probably don't know this, but Sewrella I don't even think she knows this, but she taught me how to knit, because her tutorial for like this basic chunky knit garter stitch jumper was the very video that I learned how to knit from, because it was literally like this is how you do the cast on, this is how you do the knit stitch, like everything was shown in the one video. So I like learned how to knit and how to make a jumper at the same time, which was really cool. And I was already following her because I was a crocheter before I was a knitter, and she was one of the first crochet accounts that I found before she was doing yarn. She used to do crochet patterns and crochet tutorials and things like that. So I have been following her for a very, very long time, and yeah, she's literally responsible for teaching me how to knit, and she doesn't even know that. But her and Chloe have become good friends. They met at Flock like last year, I think. Maybe the year before, I think last year. She's been a huge support of Chloe, which has been amazing and so nice to see. And yeah, her yarn is incredible, but it is so expensive to ship to Australia. Like, I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, it's just the shipping costs are like the same as the yarn. So like to order one skein of yarn from her online store to Australia, it costs like $84 Australian dollars, which is just insane for a skein of yarn. So even though the yarn like already is like more expensive than what we would pay for yarn here, it's like $47 I think, but like I would pay that if the shipping was like not gonna make it $4. Like that's crazy. So I just really haven't gotten like any yarn from her. The only yarn I've ever gotten from her was in her Oopsie sale, which I just splurged on a few years ago, and actually still haven't used the yarn yet. So I'm still yet to actually try her yarn, but God bless Chloe. She has paid for all the customs and the duties and the taxes and the shipping, and Ash has dyed her yarn especially for Bendigo, and Chloe's gonna have like a whole display of it, and it is so beautiful. She has heaps of colorways from Eras Part 1 and 2 collections, her Taylor Swift collections, which if you know me, is just, it's just perfect because I am a huge Swiftie. I have already seen the yarn. I went over the other day to like drop my books off at Chloe's house and I got to see all the yarn all set up. So very exciting. It's gonna be expensive, but not as expensive as it would be if I was getting it shipped. So that's just my justification for the amount of money I know I'm gonna be spending on this yarn. She's gonna have her DK Suri available, which is like a beautiful blown yarn, and it's just so gorgeous, so stunning. And I feel like I'm re-entering my blown yarn phase. I'll probably talk more about this in another video because this video is going to end up being really long if I just go on all these tangents. But yeah, I am definitely re-entering my blown yarn phase, and I am very, very keen to get my hands on some of this beautiful Sewrella DK Suri. It's like different to like the Suri, like lace Suri that I'm used to using. So very excited about that. And I think I want to get the colorway Lavender Haze because it's just this gorgeous lilac and it's just so perfect. Chloe actually bought some when she was in the US last year, and she's just cast it on a broom by Andrea Mowry, and it is knitting up so beautifully. So I definitely want to get some of that. I'm not sure exactly what I want to make with it yet. I'm thinking maybe, I'm not sure if I want to knit this exact pattern just because it's not very size inclusive, but I have seen this pattern called the Obsidian Sweater. Can't remember the designer's name off the top of my head, but I'll put it on the screen and I'll just put the designer's name there. So if you want to go check it out, it's this gorgeous vest with like these like double knit, I don't even know, like double knit ties, I guess. And it like has a little bow at the front and it's just so stunning. So maybe not that exact pattern just because like I said, it's not very size inclusive and I don't really want to be like promoting it too much if it's not size inclusive, but maybe something similar, or if I can find a pattern that's got like a similar vibe, or maybe I can design something myself. I think that yarn would look so nice in a design like that, like a beautiful little like slip over vest situation. So that is my vague plans. So I think I might need like 2 or 3 skeins at the most, which is still quite expensive, but hopefully worth it. And that yarn is just so hard to get in Australia, like I said, so I just felt like I've got to jump at the opportunity. Look, if I had it my way, I would be buying so many of these colorways, but like I said, it's gonna be quite expensive. And I also want to leave some for everyone else. So I think if I get any other yarn from Sewrella, it will be just 1 skein of sock yarn in the colorway Betty. It's just this beautiful like green pink situation. I think it was inspired by like the Betty folklore cabin and like the pink outfit that she would sometimes wear at the Eras tour. And it's just so stunning, and I think it would look so beautiful as a pair of socks, or maybe something else if I could find something else to make with 1 skein. So yeah, that would be what else I would get from Sewrella if I decide I want to get anything else other than the Lavender Haze yarn. We'll just have to see, but I'm probably gonna have to make those decisions pretty quickly because I know it's gonna kind of go flying off the shelves, I hope. So yeah, these decisions might need to be like straight off the bat, first thing when the show starts, just secure the goods, and then after that I can start making my other decisions. So yeah, it's pretty likely that I will, but I feel like also because I only want to get 1 skein, like maybe that one I can kind of hold off on. I don't know, but yeah, that is definitely something I would absolutely love to get. And then I guess on the topic of SuperGlo, so I didn't really actually go into it. So SuperGlo Fibre is Lindsay, also from the US. She's one of Chloe's very good friends. They've been friends for a few years. She dyes like beautiful, stunning, electrifying, like bright, bold neon yarn. It is just out of this world. I've actually been fortunate enough to use some of her yarn because Chloe had brought some back for me last year and the year before actually. So yeah, I've had the opportunity to use her yarn, and I have quite a bit of it in my stash. Like I have all these minis that she got me for my birthday last year, which was so kind, that I still haven't used because I'm like, what do I make? I have to like figure that out. But yeah, I have used her yarn before. It's amazing, it's beautiful. And she also sent Chloe heaps of yarn to sell at Bendigo. I think the situation with shipping is pretty similar for Lindsay's. I think it's just like the US, it's just really expensive to ship from. So yeah, I've been fortunate enough to use it, but mostly just because I've like gotten Chloe to do the shipping for me by just like bringing it back in her suitcase. So yeah, I have also had the opportunity to see the colorways that she will have, and they are amazing. It's like a bit of a mix of a few different collections that she's done over the past couple of years. Like there's some Chapel Roan, she's done a Lady Gaga collection recently, and some other random skeins from different collections over the years that she sent. So it's a good mix. And I can't remember the name of this colorway. It's really annoying me that I don't remember it, but I'll put a photo up on the screen if I can find it. But it's this like beautiful cream with pastel neon speckles, and it's just like, it looks like a birthday cake. It's it's just everything. It's so me. I immediately, like when I went the other night and I was like, oh, immediately I need that. 100%, like without a doubt, that is gonna be mine. So I don't know, I'm probably gonna get the sock yarn just to save some money, but part of me really wants to just buy all the DK that she sent because then I could actually make something a bit more substantial. But yeah, I'm feeling like it's probably just gonna end up being one skein of sock yarn just to keep myself a bit more restrained, and they will end up being a really fun pair of socks. So, you know, we'll just have to see. But that colorway is definitely one I want to get. And then I think I'm probably gonna have to restrain myself and leave the rest of the SuperGlo for everyone else, just because like I already do have some of her yarn and I have so many other things I want to buy as well. And of course I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna have impulse purchases, so we'll see. But yeah, those are the ones that I know I definitely want. All right, moving along. Like I said, I'm kind of re-entering my blown yarn phase, and one of the blown yarns that I've used in the past, which I absolutely love, is the CaMaRose Snefnug yarn. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but that's how it looks to me, so that's how I say it, which is a Danish yarn. I saw it a lot on my trips to Denmark over the years and just in Europe in general, but I didn't end up buying it for a while, but I did buy some on my last trip to Copenhagen, like almost 2 years ago now, and I used it for a jumper that I ultimately didn't like how it turned out, and I do actually plan on frogging and turning into something else because I was like, that is such nice yarn, like why is it just sitting? It's been sitting for like a year since I finished it and hasn't seen the light of day, and I just feel like it's such good, beautiful, expensive yarn that I should probably make it into something that I'm actually gonna wear. So yeah, I do plan on frogging that, but that's like enough yarn to make a jumper. What I want to make with it this time is not a jumper, so I won't need as much. It's actually very exciting. I haven't even like talked about this or really like settled on if I want to do it or not, but I think I do. Like, I'm definitely leaning towards wanting to do it, and I'm just like rambling right now. But yeah, basically I want to get 4 skeins of the CaMaRose Snefnug. It's like a beautiful blown yarn. I think in the colorway Emerald Green or Jelly Bean Green, I think it's called. It's like gorgeous emerald, like reminds me of like the Emerald City. I think I want to get that color, but it will just depend on what they have. Maybe I'll find something I want more, but yeah, I want to get 4 skeins of that to make a happy hour top, which is one of maybe my best selling pattern at this stage. I released it 3 years ago and it's worked from the bottom up. And I've just had a lot of people over the years like come to me with questions about adding length, and I know that like doing that from the bottom up is already kind of hard, but especially with the way that this pattern is written, it's even harder, and like it's not very customizable. Like you have to add like a whole other repeat of the stitch pattern to add length to the decrease instructions, make sense. And I just know that's not like super customizable for people and kind of annoying. And there's also just other changes I would make to the pattern now. Like I've improved a lot over the last 3 years, and I feel like I could do a better job at writing this pattern that people do love, and the design people do love, and I love it. It's one of my favorite designs. And I think I've got enough experience now with working from the top down and designing from the top down that I think I could rework it to be like a happy hour top down. I have done a bit of swatching, and like I think I figured out how to do the shaping with doing increases, so I need to do a bit more experimenting and like definitely knit a sample, obviously. So I need yarn for that, and yeah, the CaMaRose Snefnug is the perfect yarn for it. So I think that's gonna be what I use it for. So yeah, this one is like definitely hopefully going to be like a design or like a reworking of an existing design. I'm not sure yet if I would make it a separate pattern or if I would just update the current pattern. I think I just have to get a sense for like what people would want. So yeah, because I kind of would feel bad making people like repurchase it, but also like maybe some people do want to work it from the bottom up. I don't know. I still kind of have to work out all the details, but either way, I definitely want to make this sample using this yarn. So yeah, that is my plan for that, and I'm planning on getting that from the Ziggo Zaggo stall because I know they stock it, and I remember seeing it last year, and I ended up actually buying the Fibre Melt to Baby Suri from their store last year, and I turned that yarn into the Party Cardi vest. So I've had good luck with turning yarn that I buy from them into a design, and I was really tempted to buy that yarn last year, but I ended up going for the Fibre. So yeah, I think this year I will go for the CaMaRose. So yeah, I guess like stay tuned for that. I will keep you guys updated with what I decide to do in terms of the pattern, but I'm really looking forward to kind of going and revisiting one of my old patterns because I've kind of never done that before, and I probably should, but I don't know. It's kind of like an overwhelming, daunting task, but with this one, I feel pretty motivated to do it. So we'll see how that goes. The order of things I've written like doesn't really make sense, but the next thing on my list was just probably some Woollen Works yarn because obviously I don't know honestly what I'm gonna get from her. A lot of the colorways that she is gonna have are colorways that I have already used, already have in my stash. So I guess we'll just have to see, but I know that I usually can never resist Woolworks yarn when it is in front of me. So I don't know what I'm gonna get yet. She's gonna have quite a few colorways from her new bear collection. I know I'm probably gonna end up getting something from her. Just it's pretty likely. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what that ends up being. And then I'm thinking, and I don't know, this will just depend because I also have another bag that I may want to get, but I don't know what like the stock levels are going to be like. So we'll just have to see, and also just, yeah, it'll just depend. But I would love to get a tote bag from Cat Stitchery from Liz. She is a Ballarat based maker. She makes a lot of beautiful project bags and also some tote bags, which I saw at the Australian Yarn Show and fell in love with, but I didn't buy. And I don't know, I just feel like if I see them this year, I may not be able to resist. And it's like a bit different to like a regular project bag. It's like a big tote, probably feel like it could be used not just for projects, like it could just be used for like every day. So depending on what like designs that she has, it will probably just depend on if I buy one or not, but yeah. We'll just have to see. I'm pretty sure she is only a few stalls down from Chloe's, so I'm sure I will be spending a good amount of time at her stall, and we'll see what I end up getting. I've just written probably some Hedgehog fibres I don't need from Little Woollie because I have no self-control. If you don't know, Little Woollie is a yarn shop that is in Hastings in Victoria, and she always has a stall at Bendigo, and I resisted the urge at the Australian Yarn Show to buy yarn from her because I don't know, somehow had the strength, but she stocks like Hedgehog fibres and a few other international dyers that, you know, are harder to come by in Australia. I feel like Hedgehog fibres is one of the ones that like I do see a bit more often because she's quite big and like does have her yarn stocked in a few different Australian like stores or stalls. We'll just have to see. I'm currently knitting with some Hedgehog fibres yarn that I bought from Little Woollie like last year, and it's beautiful. So I just kind of have a feeling that I'm probably gonna see something that I can't resist, but it's also quite pricey. So yeah, we'll just have to see. But I have a feeling I will probably end up getting some, just a hunch that I have. Okay, and then the last thing on my list, because I'm just like kind of going by what I remember from last year, is a stall called My Creative Garage. I think the woman's name who runs it is Vanessa. I've been following her since last Bendigo when I discovered her incredible stall. She has just the most beautiful, colorful, bold, bright pastels, just everything that I love, both yarn and also project bags and tote bags. So we'll have to see what I end up getting. I feel like I'm probably gonna end up getting yarn because I've seen some of the yarn that she's been dyeing and it looks so beautiful and so up my alley. So I feel like I'm gonna end up giving in and getting some yarn from her. I did buy from her last year. I bought a mini set of boucle, like fingering boucle yarns, and I still haven't used them yet because I kind of like have an idea of what I'm gonna do, but like I'm not concrete enough to like actually do it. So it's not like I've never bought yarn from her, but I feel like I wanna maybe try more of her like variegated colorways and like not the boucle, like maybe like a sock yarn or something. So I probably will end up getting something from her, and then I don't know, she has these like tote bags with like a Miffy fabric and they just look so high quality and so well made. I'm pretty sure she said she got the fabric from Japan, and I just may give in and get one of those. So it'll probably be either or, like it might just be one of those tote bags if I can manage to get my hands on one, or something from Crystal Cat. So yeah, I don't know which one I'll end up getting. I've actually made it to the end of the list. Like I said, there are gonna be purchases that are made that are not on this list. I just know this is gonna happen, but at least I have like some sort of like structure and plan going in, because otherwise it'll be the Wild West out there and my bank account will not be happy with me. And I kind of know it's not gonna be happy with me anyway, but like at least if I have a plan, then hopefully everything will get used, like I said. I think that is all I wanted to talk about. I think I covered a lot, and I'm probably gonna kind of revisit a lot of these plans in my yarn haul. So if there's anything I missed, I'm sure I will go into more detail in the yarn haul. And then obviously, like I said, I definitely need to film a podcast because I have so many projects that I haven't shown you. It is quite insane. Like I went with like a month without knitting, and then once I kind of started to get the room sorted and like I had all my yarn in my craft room, it has just been wild. I have had cast on fever like you've never seen before. I've been finishing projects, I've been starting projects. It's just been a lot. So very excited to kind of go through and show you everything, catch you up on everything I've been making, because it's definitely definitely overdue, but I don't think I'm gonna film that until after. So you're probably gonna get this, and then you're gonna get my yarn haul, and then you're gonna get the podcast. But at least we will have some new videos coming out, hopefully in the not too distant future. All right, I think that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about all my plans. I'm very interested to know, are you coming, or at this point, I feel like this will not be up before, but did you go to the Australian Sheep and Wool Festival? Did you go to Spendigo? If you did I see you? Future me? I wouldn't know right now, but if you came to the Woolworth stall or just saw me somewhere, and if we chatted, let me know. I have no idea. I'm trying to like speak to the future, so it's a bit weird. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you attended the Sheep and Wool Festival, or if you've been before, or just tell me what you're working on, because I always love to know. And yeah, I think that's all. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.